Now, the first ever New African Woman Forum was held in London. A high-profile panel were all present in the capital as discussions about various important issues in Africa were held. Our correspondent Rene Bissohong went down to find out more.
African women reinventing leadership was one of the topics for discussion at the first edition of the New African Woman Forum launched by the New African Woman magazine. The day brought together a variety of African women leaders across the continent, from finance to science. It offered a unique platform to meet, network and share success stories, experiences and challenges faced by the new African women who are changing the game on the continent. Mare Ba Diaye believed that the only thing stopping African women from thriving is a lack of self-confidence.
I think we discussed it throughout this panel conversation. Some of us talk about this inside voice, limiting yourself, to be able to drive. Because now we all agree that at the leadership level, at the government level, more and more have been done in terms of integrating in our constitution the gender equality. But how do we go from paperwork to implement it in action? And I think it's come back to ourselves. We need to put that in action and be effective on that.
Africa is a continent on the rise, one of the fastest growing economies in the world. It currently has over 5% annual growth compared to 3% global average. That is according to the IMF report in 2013. And yet it holds 30% of the world's poorest, which comprise of women and the youth. But how can this growth be sustained when half of its population live under the poverty line? According to Obiengele Ezekwesili, a former vice president of the World Bank, the use of all manpower can only help the advancement of the continent.
The conversation is the rational conversation that you have men, you have women. They are human beings with talents. Use everyone. Because if you don't use all your talents, you're going to perform worse than any other person who's busy using all their talents.
The forum's aim was not only to showcase talents, but to highlight issues and also to find solutions and strategy to enable sustainable growth in Africa. Those in attendance were all advocating for equal rights for women.
Yes, feminism has a place in Africa. But it must be feminism that is designed by us African women, not the one that you are practicing in the West. That will not work in Africa. At least I felt it wouldn't work for me. I designed my own.
Yet, one question remains. How can Africa fulfill its full potential and become a dynamic and credible force in global stage when more than half of its population are disempowered?